All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and apologies for the little technical glitches, and thank you for your patience. All right. Today we are going to talk about automation. How do you transform your business processes using automation? No. I'm Paresh Joshi. I'm a success architect here at Salesforce. In my role, I get engaged with customers on their architectural challenges, something which is usually not handled by support, and you are not looking for longer-term services engagement. With me, I have Nate. Nate?
I'm Nate Lipke, and I'm a developer on the Lightning Flow team on the engine side, runtime, and that is Process Builder and Flow.
In short, he actually makes all that magic happen. Okay. Right. I'm going to start with reading this slide word by word and line by line. Is that okay? Okay. All right. So this is a must. Our legal team actually tells us. So we are going to talk about some forward-looking items which are not yet available in Salesforce. So if you are making your purchase decision, please make it based on what is available today, and not based on what I'm going to say is going to be available in future. This applies both to our product as well as to the stock. Hey, so when we talk about automation, today's business is increasingly they are competing based on the experiences that their customers get. Right? Think about going to a movie. Right? Instead of purchasing a movie ticket after going there, most of us now actually purchase our movie ticket, go there, and don't even have a printout. We simply show our mobile or our watch, and then simply go and select our seats. Or think about something happens to your credit card. If it goes missing or it gets damaged, then you simply go to your mobile application, tap a button, and your replacement is on the way. Or using something like Amazon Alexa or Google Home, you are actually able to not only control your devices, but you are also able to make purchases and make purchases actually using these devices, right? The bottom line is, even if you are selling the same or similar type of products, yes, different products are important, or different product features are important, but increasingly, your customers are actually looking for a better experience. And we know that behind every experience, there is a process. Think about the credit experience which I talked about. When your credit card gets stolen or damaged, if it is damaged, what you're looking for is, you already have your credit card, so you are simply looking for it getting replaced. But if it is if it is stolen, then there is an additional step, right? You actually want to say, do you want to actually dispute any of the transactions, and then only ask for the replacement. This was a very simple example, but within your business there are going to be many more complex processes. So you need to automate. When you have to automate all these processes, most of the companies actually struggle very much in designing this experience which users are looking for. And the reason behind that is, when you have to provide that experience, you have to think about number of different things. You have to think about, okay, what all systems that I need to integrate. Once I have integrated all those systems, what type of automation I'm going to do? And to do that automation, sometimes I may have to depend on the code, where that code is going to reside. And then, once you have done that, you also need to build this beautiful user experience as well as user interface, and then export it to the customer. And all those things require actually use of code, use of integration, and companies don't have the right type of tools, resources, and so they struggle. Now, all of you are Salesforce customers, and when Salesforce talks about introducing any of these type of features, we always try to make these features as declarative as possible, so that you don't actually have to write the code, you don't have to worry about all those things. It can be done declaratively. And our answer to this type of demand from you is Lightning Flow. Lightning Flow is a combination of Process Builder, Visual Flow, and then you can actually, on top of this, you can develop these Lightning components, and those Lightning components can be exposed using either the Visual Flow or even within the part of your Process Builder. And that is how you are able to provide this automated experience to your end users. So your question might be, how does it work? It's actually relatively simple. It's just a three-step process. You first start by writing your logic using the visual flow. Then, to give that beautiful user experience to your users, you actually write these components. So those components might have the logic, or they may also have the user interface. So you design that user interface, and the step 3 is simply exposing those components using something like Lightning App Builder. So if you are using it for your internal users, then you are going to use Lightning App Builder, and if it is for your community users, then you are going to use the Community Builder. Again, just a simple three-step process. You start by designing your process logic, then you design the screens, and then use those components to expose that to your users. So you may ask, what is this process builder and visual flow? They are two separate things. Behind the scene, as I talked, it's still the single platform. But within the process builder, to give you an example, you can take, let's say, something to do with the opportunity or something to do with the case. And when something happens with the record, say case or opportunity, you want to take certain action, then you are going to use the process builder. And visual flow actually even extends that capability further. So you can actually make decisions based on the actions which are being taken. So something happens with the process or something happens with the record, then you want to go to one path or versus the different path. Let me go into the detail of this by giving examples. I have personally worked with a number of customers in helping them design this type of processes and automation. Two specific examples are, one of them is one customer, they had these really complex knowledge requirements where they had 50 different types of knowledge articles, and depending upon what their end users are looking for, they had to show them very specific knowledge article. Now, if you had to do this programmatically, you would have to write probably thousands of lines of code. But by using visual flow, we're able to do this very simply. We took the knowledge object. Within the knowledge object, we added a few custom fields, which were going to be the questions. Those were populated in this custom object. And then, on top of that, we developed a visual flow. The entire basic design was ready in under 4 hours. And then, of course, you have to worry about the data and everything. But then, once your flow is ready, it can be exposed, again, for your internal users or even for your community users. The second example is a customer who had very complex account hierarchy. And depending upon the account that you are working with, you might have to actually take them to a different page. Now, you can obviously do this programmatically. But because depending upon the use case, if the account hierarchy is complex or simple, we had to take them to different pages. We were able to add a formula field. Just a simple formula field, and then within the flow, we're just checking the value in the formula field and then taking them to a different page. So again, the code-based solution was simply done using this type of visual flow. Right. Now, since these solutions are actually on top of Salesforce platform, the platform itself actually scales this entire process inherently. If you were at the Dreamforce, then you might have heard about these really large companies, Pfizer, Gap, talking about using this type of feature. Actually, today, there are more than 100,000 active orgs which are taking advantage of this automation. There are more than 100 billion processes which are run per month. So the platform itself is inherently scalable and support this type of complex use cases. Now, I'm part of CSG. When I talk to customers about this type of automation, their question is about, OK, this is really cool, but our processes are really complex. And we need to not only test those processes, but we also need to debug those processes. So what type of tools are available to you? And we have Nate to actually talk about those in more detail.
So real quickly, if you're not testing your code, you have no idea if it's working. Every time you deploy it, something changes. So we want to write automated, reliable test. And Apex test is the way we do that, even for process and flow. And for more complex things like screen flows or things with events, you'll have to write some Selenium type testing, something like that. So here's a quick example of launching a flow where we give it an input, get back its output, and just verify that. But what I'm going to demo here I hope. Oop. There we go. What I'm going to demo here is a quick process builder. This is just checking if SLA is null. We can go ahead and set it to bronze. And what I did was I wrote a quick test that just inserts an account without a SLA and then verify that it got set. And then again, did the opposite, that we already gave it an SLA and it has gold, so it should stay gold. And